and the family of Pava LaPere. This includes her father, Frank LaPere, her mother, Caroline LaPere, and her brother, Nico LaPere. We're here to announce that the defendant, Mr. Jason Billingsley, has pled guilty to 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Mr. Billingsley was just sentenced to 3 life sentences. 2 life sentences will run concurrent, the attempt murders. Then 1 life sentence, the murder, is running consecutive. Also keep in mind, Mr. Billingsley also has the parole violations as well. I want to acknowledge attorneys Billy Murphy and Malcolm Ruff, the fine work that they've been able to do, who've represented Ms. Hurley through this legal process. I'd also like to acknowledge the hard work of my homicide division team captains, Elizabeth Stock and Tanya LaPola. All the men and women of the Baltimore City Police Department that worked many hours. Specifically, we want to honor and acknowledge Detective Saunders and the good work that he was able to do in helping to provide closure to this case. I want to take this opportunity to commend Ms. Hurley as well as the LaPere family for their brave testimonies in court and during these plea hearings. It takes an unbelievable amount of strength to stay in a room with a person who stole so much from you and to speak directly to that person. Your advocacy has undoubtedly played a critical role in ensuring that this defendant, Mr. Billingsley, cannot harm any more innocent lives. I feel very strongly that this plea agreement will ensure the safety of the citizens of the state of Maryland and Baltimore City. I also want to acknowledge the other survivor in this matter as well, Mr. Billingsley, even though he is not here with us in the attempt murder case. While he is not here today, he still played an important and significant role in the successful prosecution of this defendant, and we should acknowledge that his role also helped us deliver justice. Let me be clear. Mr. Billingsley should never see the light of day again. Not once, but twice he's already violated parole, and now he has 3 life sentences that he will be serving. Not to also mention his prior history of sex offense. These cases have inspired my office and many across the state to look at the laws. We want to thank the legislature for passing the Pava LaPere Marie Act in reference to how we look at diminution credits. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Hurley and have her speak a few words.
I hope everybody's doing well this morning. If it weren't for God and my will to be alive, I wouldn't be standing here today. The impact that this heinous attack had on my life has been nothing short of devastating. I now live in constant fear, and being in public is now extremely difficult for me. Every day I have flashbacks and triggers that cause terrible anxiety, pain, and stress. I will never be the same person. My pain is made worse by knowing that my former landlord is responsible for bringing this monster who violated me to my front door. But I'm alive, and I'm thankful that justice is being served. Every day my daughter tells me that she loves me and that I'm the best mommy ever. And I cry at the thought that Jason Billingsley tried to take me from her.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Billy Murphy, and I and Malcolm Ruff represent April Hurley. We want to first extend our deepest condolences to the family of Ms. Pava LaPere. This exceptionally gifted and talented young woman's life was tragically cut short by an act of pure evil. And our hearts ache for you and your loved ones. No words can ever truly capture your pain. But we stand with you today in solidarity and in the pursuit of justice. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to State's Attorney Ivan Bates, along with his prosecutors Elizabeth Stock and Tanya LaPore, for their swift and decisive action in bringing Jason Billingsley to justice, which allowed April to avoid reliving the trauma of her attack at trial. We're deeply grateful that she can continue her path to recovery with the knowledge that Billingsley will spend the rest of his life behind bars. But let us be clear. What happened to April was an act of unspeakable evil, unspeakable violence. Jason Billingsley did not just attack her. He tortured her, raped her, slit her throat, and left her for dead. This unspeakable cruelty shocked Baltimore and the world by the hands of a man with a known history of predatory behavior. And to worsen the matter, it was preventable and enabled by the negligence of Eden's Homes and Property Pals. Eden's Homes and Property Pals hired Jason Billingsley to oversee their properties despite his background as a convicted sex offender. This reckless decision placed April directly in harm's way and gave this evil man the opportunity to mercilessly violate our client. We cannot allow this negligence to go unanswered. And while Billingsley has faced justice, we will not rest until every party responsible for this tragedy is held accountable. Mr. Billingsley has had his days in court, but for my firm, that is only the beginning of the story. We will not rest until justice is fully delivered to April. And we will not rest until we are confident that the negligence of Eden's Homes and Property Pals is also addressed in court. Again, you have our full support forever and ever. There are no words that can describe the pain that any of the evil results have caused to not only my client, but your friend, your family, all of the people who loved her. So thank you again, Ivan, for the wonderful job that you did in this case and the wonderful job you have done so far in your tenure. You have our full support.
At this point in time, I'd like to introduce the LaPere family. Yeah, I've heard from Frank LaPere, Caroline LaPere, as well as Nico LaPere.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. This is the beginning of the end of a very difficult year. We appreciate the efforts of Detective Saunders and the Baltimore Police Department. We appreciate the efforts of State's Attorney Bates and State's Attorney Brayboy and the various delegates and senators who helped promote and pass unanimously the Pava LaPere Act to eliminate diminution credits so that someone like Jason Billingsley can never get out of prison early based on good behavior for heinous attacks and crimes that he and others like him will continue to commit. Acceptable justice may have been served today, but it will never fill the void, erase the grief, or replace the impact that Pava would have had given the full life that she so deserved, a full life that every innocent person deserves. First and foremost, her legacy will live on. It's well established. The foundation she helped build is strong, and her spirit will continue to reside and thrive here in her adopted home state of Maryland. The emotions we feel are still very raw. Every day since Pava's murder has been extremely painful and difficult to endure. Pava's death has deeply impacted our family, her friends, EcoMap Technologies, the Johns Hopkins University, the City of Baltimore, and the state of Maryland. It was right here where she was making a significant impact on improving the lives, entities, and communities which she so loved. And we will continue to work in the vacuum left by her absence to improve the safety of innocent victims like Pava and April and Jonte, in addition to the many other victims of this convicted felon and others like him. You want to read whatever you like from your thing?
No, I'm sorry. Words befall me. It's we will remain determined to ensure that the Pava LaPere Act is expanded to all states, willing to protect their residents. What I've learned through the process is we just don't know how dangerous it is out there. We seek justice. We think we've been given justice, but what happens from the time something is handed down in court till the time the person is serving it? In our case, it was ridiculous, irresponsible, reprehensible, which it can't and shouldn't happen again. So we need to take a close examination. And that means each state individually has to do it. Diminution credits are good in certain respects, horrific in others. Unfortunately, we represent the horrific that we need to eradicate as best as we can, and we'll make ourselves available to do that.
There are many other amazing things that were established or have been established since Pava's death. We're very proud of what she accomplished in her all too short life, and we look forward to continuing to promote the legacy that she built for the rest of our lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this moment in time, I'll open it up for any questions.
When we're looking at the parole, if we could go through this math, right?
Yes.
We have the 3 life sentences concurrently, consecutively, so that's 20 years. Then the second life term would begin another 20 years. So Billingsley would argue would be about in his 70s before he would even begin to be eligible for parole. But then could you talk about the violation? So how much time are we really looking at? If you could break that down for us.
So, and this is, let me put my former job hat on. So one of the things that you look at when you go in the parole retake, the parole commission, they're going to look to see, have you ever violated parole? He's violated parole not once but twice. They also take into account what you did when you violated. He violated with not 1, not 2, but 3 life sentences. So therefore, the first time, they're not even going to think about it. You are technically eligible to go before the parole board after 20 years. But realistically, he has almost 20 years from the first parole, because it was a 30-year sentence. He was out at 9. They're looking at good time, all that other stuff. They're going to take all his days away and everything. It's looking around 20 years. To be honest, I would not be shocked. I would be shocked if he was paroled on the first 2 life sentences within 40 years. Then once he receives almost those 40 years and then he's paroled, now we begin the 20-year sentence of the consecutive life sentence. I do not suspect he will even be able to see the twinkle of light until he's done 60 years, which would put him at 93 years of age. I will say, and I do recognize the next question was like, well, how'd you come about the plea? Number of things happen with a plea. First and foremost, we have to talk to the victims and the victims' families. And we had these difficult discussions. Prosecutors did a phenomenal job. And I had the conversations with Mr. LaPere from phone calls and emails and the family. This, first of all, has to be something the family is going to sign off on. And then when they sign off on it, my next question is, does this plea protect the citizens of Baltimore City and the state of Maryland? And a couple of things. One, when you go to trial, you open the opportunity for victims and victims' families to have their wounds opened all over again. There will be facts and information, evidence that is going to be hurtful and harmful no matter who the family is and what happened. Number two, you always run the risk of, if we win, now there's a potential for appeal to relive this 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years down the line. Number one, what do we want? We wanted to have the life sentences. We wanted to ensure that he would not see the light of day. We feel that this plea has done that. Once again, understanding the parole process, understanding the parole retake process, understanding the consecutive life sentence on top of that, to avoid a trial, to avoid the opportunity for a lengthy appeal. It also saves, and this wasn't our number one factor, but we also did realize it saves the state of Maryland probably millions of dollars within this process as well. And so for us, it accomplished the goal. You know, we did not want to put Ms. Hurley on the witness stand to have her relive that terrible nightmare that she lived through. That would be traumatizing to her. The LaPere family, to listen to everything that truly happened would be traumatizing to them. We're able to accomplish the goal of having this individual spend the rest of their natural-born life in prison, receiving the convictions, and allowing them to begin the process of healing. We feel that we were successful in what we wanted to do. When I met the LaPere family, I told them we would do everything we could to hold this young man accountable, and I feel that our office has kept its word.
Do you believe the motions hearing was the turning point for Billingsley taking the plea?
I believe, well, first of all, it's difficult for me to say that. Everybody takes pleas differently, but I do believe that in the motion hearings, I think Mr. Billingsley clearly saw the level of skill and ability of the prosecutors. I think he recognized that, we have many outstanding lawyers, but they're truly two of the best in our office, in our homicide division. I think he understood that, that we had a very strong case and that they were prepared to proceed.
Can you just confirm whether you will or will not be eligible for diminution credits?
Well, he's always going to be eligible for diminution credits. However, you will not get enough diminution credits to get out on that life sentence.
Next.
Oh, I have a question. Statement first. I'm sorry to meet you, all of you this way. Thank you for sharing your stories. It's really helpful to us, and you're very brave to do so. So I wanted to know if any of the victims or victims' families want to talk about the process of delivering an impact statement and speaking this way, if that's been helpful to you. And in light of that, Mr. Bates, can you comment on the Maryland Supreme Court's ruling that's about the right of a victim to, in the Adnan Syed case today, that the right of a victim to attend in person and deliver a statement? It's kind of a three-pronged question, but it's applicable.
You did that impressively.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'll go ahead and take my part first, and then I'll turn over to, in reference to the ruling that came out of the Adnan Syed case, I'm not going to comment or talk about that now. It's unfair to the families here. But also it's 185-page opinion as I understand it, and we need to have the opportunity to sit down, look at it, digest it, realize do we have any issues and what my potential issues would be. However, in reference to the right of victims, number one, this office, we serve the residents and citizens of Baltimore City and the victims. We put victims first because they're the reason we are here. Anything that does something to support victims, we will support as well. And so I feel very strongly about the victims, making sure that victims are heard. That is our role, that is our job, and that is why we are here every day, making sure that victims have their voice heard in the courts that so many people don't realize. And once again, in this particular case, I do feel that our victim witness division was able to be supportive of the families, to be there every single step, to make sure that whether it was Frank or Billy or whomever had my number could talk. We could talk through the process. And if not me, that my attorneys were available to the victims and the victims' families. We do this job for the victims. At any moment in time, any of us in our city could be a victim of anything, and we want to make sure. So I'm extremely supportive of victims' rights.
And just to be clear, so it's been remanded to circuit court, and you said you can't comment on what'll happen next?
I don't know anything about the case. It's going to be under review. You know, it's a 185-page opinion, so I need to have the opportunity to digest really what the issue was, the reason for it being remanded. I absolutely I do not know anything, but I also have to look to see, do I or my office have a potential conflict? And how do we deal with that potential conflict? So we know absolutely nothing. It's 185 pages, I was told, coming in, and that would take a while to look at, to read and digest. At the appropriate time when we've done that, I'll be more than happy to talk about that. But right now, this is about Jason Billingsley, this is about Amber, and this is about Pava. Okay?
Do any of you want to comment on telling your story or telling the judge how this has impacted you? And you don't have to, just it's thank you.
So first, I just want to say that it's extremely hard to think about every day since the attack has happened to me. It's felt like a fight for my own life every single day since this has happened. When I learned about the passing of Pava, the murder of Pava, I was extremely upset and angry that he did this to someone other than myself. And I felt the importance of being able to give my victim impact statement was that much more important, because I'm here and I'm able to speak on my encounter with this evil person, whereas other victims are not able to speak on what happened to them. So the importance of giving my victim impact statement was very important to me. I would not have not gotten up to do that. And I'm so thankful for the state's attorney's office and the judge and others that have put this in place for me to be able to do that and to go over with me, you know, and to give me that option, you know, to speak on how this has impacted me. So I'm thankful for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to add, so I'm Malcolm Ruff, also a member of the Murphy firm. And, you know, the old adage is there's always two sides to every story. But in a case, and in most criminal cases, there's three, right? And initially, April's story was not properly conveyed to the public. And unfortunately, I think we as a community in Baltimore City suffered because of that. And it shows the importance of having April up here, standing up and calling out Jason Billingsley for the monster that he was, the monster that he is, that he will never see the light of day. Those words are powerful coming from her because she has exuded nothing but strength and power from a terrible, heinous situation. So we think that her impact statement and the statement of Pava's family are essential elements of the resolution of this case.
Let me clarify something. We're not talking about Mr. Bates's dereliction, because there was none on his part. We're talking about the Baltimore City Police not putting out the true story, and which partially enabled this to happen, because if the true story had come out, this may not have happened.
And sir, going off of that comment, does either family plan to take any future action?
Oh, we will. There's no question about it. We will. We will act appropriately and within the law to ensure that she gets all of the justice she deserves. And that hasn't happened yet. This is phase 1. Phase 2 is coming.
And specifically, you're talking about Baltimore police?
No, I'm not talking about anybody in particular. Those people know who they are.
No, to be clear, just so we're not having any disputes or misunderstandings, we do not intend to bring any action against the Baltimore City Police Department. That is absolute, and you can take that to the bank. That is not what we're here about. But that is an important aspect of this case. What we have done is filed a lawsuit against her landlords, and that was filed back in April, and we are continuing to pursue that as we speak.
I'm obviously preparing and delivering the victim impact statement is hard. We have stood before you on many occasions and before different bodies, and we have made very hard announcements, speeches, and presentations, whether it was at a celebration of life or to the legislature or in this very room in early January, announcing the Pava LaPere Act. It was important to speak on her behalf because she's not here to be able to do it herself. And April is right. It takes a tremendous amount of strength, not only to get through what we've been through over the last year, but to appear here, to search our souls and come up with words that convey how we feel while we're completely in a state of devastation and loss. This is a loss that's never going to go away. We thank the state's attorneys and the prosecutors and the members of the victims advocacy groups, both in the police department and the state's attorney's office, who have helped us get to this point and prepare us for what we need to go through now as we put this evil man behind bars, as we move on with our lives, knowing that Pava won't be part of them anymore.
Mr. LaPere,
Yes.
I noticed that while you guys were giving your impact statements, and even while you were addressing Mr. Billingsley directly, he was mostly just staring straight ahead. We couldn't see his face, but I know he said he feels remorse, but do you think he showed it?
He did look me in the eye at the beginning when I said I was speaking directly to him. I have a difficult time accepting that statement, knowing that this is not a one-time crime. 3 days prior to Pava's murder, he violently attacked April and Jonte and inflicted an unspeakable harm to them. And he was out on parole, having already violated that parole for other extremely dangerous acts. I don't think this is a person who can understand remorse or really feels it.
We got time for one more. Anybody?
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed at the beginning of your statement that you first apologized to Mr. Billingsley, and I was just wondering if you could expand on like that emotion.
I know that he did not have a good life. I know that there are 5 siblings. I know they were all given up. And they grew up separately and independently in foster care. And I was sorry that what possibly could have been a prosperous life of his was taken from him at an early age and created, unfortunately, the monster that attacked April and Jonte and murdered our daughter. And I pray for his mother and that she may find peace. But other than that, I don't have any other feelings about Mr. Billingsley.
No, the thing is, everything is dehumanizing when we talk about crimes. People commit crimes. Well, what was behind that? And that's what I said. I can only talk from the heart. I stumble over emotions and concepts and everything. But basically, my daughter was very articulate and she was very passionate. So she had both a big heart and a good mind. And she saw there are too many injustices around here. There are inequities that we can and will set straight. That's what the focus needs to be on. That's Pava's legacy. She didn't stop at color, age, sex. We're equal. We're people. Let's help one another and make things happen.
As we've stated from the very beginning, our goal as a family is to continue to promote Pava's legacy, to continue to build on the things that she started, and to help other people through legislation that has passed to keep convicted felons such as Jason Billingsley away from other innocent victims.
So that no more victims can be created. Because remember, you're seeing but a few of his victims. There are victims that never had an opportunity, were never given a voice. Someone has to speak for them and work for them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Good to meet you, sir.